somebody sent to me called Uncovering the Blind Spot of Leadership by C. Otto Scharmer. He talks about 7 leadership capacities, and I'm talking about leadership in terms of business, but also I think, again, I'm going to say we lead our own lives, so leadership in terms of our lives. And his whole, what he talks about, the beginning of the article, is the overview of the article, is that nothing is certain except change in our world right now, and that's one of the reasons I think we're all feeling overwhelmed, because it's, I'd like something to be certain. I don't know, I mean, is my coffee every morning? Sometimes not enough cream. It's like nothing's certain, really. And so in order to manage that, he talks about letting it emerge, whatever it is. So we're going to go through this. I recreated this. He just has a better one on his article, but I recreated it. And what he talks about is, in order to deal with the change today, it requires a shift of our mind, our heart, and our will. We have to have openness in all of that. And this bottom one, we're going to talk about it more thoroughly after I get through 1, 2, 3. But presencing, the word is present and sensing. Combination of those two words, being present and sensing. And interestingly, yesterday, yoga, and of course probably because I'm doing this class, she says, and I know she has not read this article, although she's pretty well read on these things, she said, when you're be present in this moment for our positions and sense where your body is, because you get injured when you don't. She was talking about injury. If we just push through it in yoga, injuries happen. But when you are present and you sense what's going on and you pay attention and you are kind to yourself, you don't get injured. So I thought, isn't that something that now I heard it yesterday? Yoga, all right. So the first step is holding the space. This is the way to change your life. So you start here, this is where we are, and up here is where we all want to be. Number 7, performing at macro best possible performance. So holding the space is inviting others in, listening to other people. We all need to be connected. We can't live on our own. And start suspending judgment on what people are saying, so that you're holding open heart, open mind, the space to just see what comes. We tend to, somebody says, Holly, you should do blah, 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 and I go, I'm not going to do that. Immediately my head was, I don't know, maybe I will. So suspending, holding the space open to see what might emerge. It allows future possibilities that can happen that you might not even know. And this could be even on an email you're sending or anything really related to anything. Inviting others in, yeah. And it requires a good deal of intention. I used used paper, sorry. I used paper. Isn't that good? Yeah. I know.
Yes, it is.
I'm looking for used paper. If anybody has used paper, I'm putting a vibe out in the world. Okay. I need used paper. Holding the space, suspending judgment, opening your heart and mind to whatever it is that might be coming out. Observe, and this is sort of that awareness thing, with your mind wide open, shutting down the judgment, the habit of judging automatically based on past experiences. It didn't work before. I just, again, read something recently about, I think it's Einstein or somebody said, you can't solve today's problems with yesterday's solutions or something like that. In other words, you need to open up to a new idea. There isn't an old idea that's going to work in today's world, in this constantly changing world. So stop judging based on past experiences. Opening up to a place of inquiry and wonder. And it is difficult to let go of existing ideas, but this idea of playful and children, inquiry and wonder. Have you walked in the snow when you're miserable and it's freezing cold and you hate it with a child? And they're in inquiry and wonder and woohoo, yay, right? So, and that's another fragrance I take out sometimes for myself, is say, I'm just going to go out with wonder and inquiry. Like, what is out there today?
And a glass of wine. No.
That could be one of the things. There we go. That goes on your list of what feels good. Makes you feel good.
A little bit of that fragrance.
That's good fragrance. It's a good one. It's a good one.
That was good.
And
So
then
then,
belly laugh.
and then you belly. See, we all just belly laugh. Look at this. This is good. Now you're open. Your brain just opened up. You can hear what I'm trying to say. This board stuff. Sensing and the letting go. And this part I love because when you get down here, you're letting go of all the old stuff, all the old beliefs, all whatever has held you back, has gotten you to where you are. And I'll talk about presencing in a minute, but this is my favorite thing, letting come. Letting come. So what is emerging out of this open mind, open heart, open will, no judgment, answers aren't going to work necessarily, what's the new answers, what can we do differently, and letting it come. And the letting come comes in silence. You can't let come, I talk about angel voices. They don't chase you down. Honest to God, if you're running around, they're not going to stop. You can't hear them. They don't stop for you. So the presencing is that piece, is being present in this moment, sensing what's happening right now, not worrying about yesterday or next year, what your job's going to be like, or whatever it is that we do. And then you can let it come, whatever it is, what's emerging. So the whole thing, he's talking about letting a new way emerge for yourself. It could be if you're trying to start a new business, you're doing something totally different. Well, when I started my business, I had this very specific idea of what it was going to be, and it's emerging into that and speaking. I love speaking. Well, who knew, So if I didn't be quiet and listen and sense and be present to what might happen, opportunity at ISIS to speak in March was awesome. Thank you. Who knew? Who would know? So what's emerging, let it come. So he talks about, get back to my notes because this presencing, it connects to the deepest source of your will. An open will allows you to act from the emerging whole. It's no longer me creating alone. I feel connected to something deeper, a sense of love for the world and what is coming. And intuitively you know what to do. And this is what I'm talking about when I lay in Shavasana. It absolutely happens. Now, it's taken me time to make this work, so it doesn't happen in a minute. But I get up and I know what to do. I know what the email needs to look like, what it needs to say. I mean, it's unbelievable. And it's this letting come in quietness and stillness is where that happens. And when you take care of yourself, it's the renewal piece of it too. Crystallizing, enacting, embodying it, crystallizing starts, okay, what is it that I want to do? It starts crystallizing. You start formulating what it is and keeping your open mind, open heart, and open will. And this often relates to a group of people. You might, we can't do these things by ourselves. So it could be talking to you all and saying, oh, you could do this or that, and letting it come. Crystallizing is enacting, and the momentum builds, and then prototyping is embodying it. And I'm not going to go too deeply into this because we're running out of time, but read the article because it's like mind-blowing. It's not long. And then performing, he talks about macro violin performing. So we're all trying to get to that spot where we're so good at what it is, that whatever it is, this email that we're writing, it could even be as small as that, or running the marathon, or I don't know what it is, But it comes from something bigger than us. This is not us figuring it out. We can't figure it out. We cannot figure it out. So it's only in the silence and the quiet are the other voices, is your intuition that's so wise, able to emerge and let you know what to do.
Could you speak more about the prototyping?
Yes. Prototyping is, he says, integrating your head, heart, and your hand. He talks about you're an artist, so you can probably relate to this more than, or you're an artist in music, but he talks about sculpting. So when maybe you have an idea of a pot that you want to have it look like, but as you let go and then let come the idea, your hands do the work. So it comes from your heart, not from your head, saying, because maybe it shouldn't look like that one that you just had in your mind before, or you saw it in a magazine you wanted to recreate, and something else comes out of it. So it's really letting go of we all want to have like the answer, right? We all want to have the answer. We all do. And that isn't where it comes from. It comes from this inner place that only happens in silence and in letting it happen. And that's why I say the letting go and letting come and emerging, letting emerge what happens. This article is, you can click onto it. I suggest reading it. It's really.
What's interesting about that is that, we're living in a time now where, especially with all of us, people want an answer, they want it quick. And I've been trying to do this 24-hour rule. And, a lot of my clients are not liking it because they want their answers, but you come to such a better, rational, logical decision if you make them wait, instead of always just hopping to all their demands. And
why didn't you get back to me? I'm like, you emailed me 3 minutes ago.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's that balance too.
Yeah, it's forcing people that doesn't want to wait at all.
It's true. I've found on that email, ideas that, because I've struggled with that before. We're like, okay, I got to answer this person's questions, blah blah blah.
Right.
So I put everything else aside and I answer the questions or whatever, and I'm all stressed and what have you. And I found that now I still answer them right away, but I answer them, hi, I didn't answer your email. But I say, hi, I really want to focus on your question, and I'm out doing whatever it is I'm doing right now, but I'd like to get back to you tomorrow. Is that okay? And that way it
You're knowledge.
it takes the pressure
that's-
off of me, but it also puts it in a
Yeah.
proactive stance of
Yeah.
I don't have to be defensive when they call back and say, why didn't you answer me?
Right.
I'm answering you now, but I'm going to answer you further tomorrow.
Right.
Well, and you're setting their expectations
Yeah.
for a period of, and you're kind of also over time training them a little bit, like what you were saying,
Right.
to say, okay, I'm not necessarily one of these, jumping beans,
Right.
Mhm.
but I'm going to get back to you, and there's going to be a quality response.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're important to me,
And
you're-
so I want to give you the time of thought to really
Exactly.
answer
I
it.
think the most important thing is that to be acknowledged.
Mhm.
I got your email.
Yeah.
I got your text. I'm working on it. I'll get back to you. As long as they know, that's what we were talking about before, it makes me crazy that people don't call me back. Tell me again, tell me you're not interested, but just call me back.
Yeah, right,
It's like,
right.
please.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Just being respectful.
kind of rude, actually.
Yeah.
You don't ever hear from somebody, but yeah, they're not.
Well, but we're
Getting back
saying
to
the
getting
other
through
side of it
something.
too, which is that what you were saying was you don't want to be in that position of saying, I must get back to this person right away.
The etiquette has gone because people
Right.
write a long email to you, lots of questions, and then they'll phone you 10 minutes later. Have you read my email?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that drives me nuts. So
Right.
people will come to your desk and say, did you read my email yet?
Yeah.
I said, well, why did you send it to me if you're going to come and talk about it?
We're here now.
Emails and the
Right.
10 other phone calls from everyone else,
Right,
that
right.
we're all dealing with.
And I've got in the habit now, if I see the string of several people, I just read the last one because the chances are it's been solved. I can delete the previous 9 because there it is.
Don't respond because it probably will get solved, so
Right.
there you go.
But it is a reflection over time because I always used to say, hi, how are you at the beginning of emails, and always used to have a nice sign off, and then I noticed people sending emails that are just, have you done this yet?
Right.
There's not even a hello, there's not even a goodbye, but the trouble is I'm doing it too now.
Right.
I'm finding myself responding in the same way, it's the text mentality. It's
Right.
minimal characters almost, and that.
Forget about crafting a courteous email.
But there is such importance in that, though. There's such importance, I think, in what was it? There's a show. I don't know if you guys watched this show that just started, Silicon Valley.
Oh, yeah.
It's so funny. And last night there was something that everything's all tongue in cheek, but there was something that was said last night that I was like, yes, that is important. And it was like about when you greet somebody in an email, not just a quick whatever. It's always start with a nicety, always start with it, no matter how busy you are or how curt they came across to begin with. It's how are you today? I hope you're having a great day. Here's my answer to your question.
Mhm.
Then a nice sign off.
Yeah.
So,
So don't respond to get solved?
yeah.
No. Are you writing that down? Write it down.
But it's like when this 24-hour thing because things happen.
Not saying don't acknowledge it,
No,
acknowledge,
no,
but think about it,
right.
let them wait,
Let 'em all
because it's
ponder.
all gonna,
Right.
you know, it's getting caught up in the drama of it all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's training, so.
Yeah, and it is training,
Right.
yeah.
So I think what you're all sort of summing it up is the idea of your training. When you can respond and say, I'm gonna get back to you tomorrow, or whatever it is you're doing, you're acknowledging, which is really nice, and you're giving yourself some time to think about it, and you actually will come up with a better solution, and sometimes it's all solved, maybe they figured it out by then.
Right.
You
Yeah, it's
know,
also
right?
allowing them time to think about all the crazy thoughts that were going on there, or ideas that were in their head, to
Right.
put it into a little more perspective.
Because we're all in this, I keep
Spin.
doing this, the spin, yeah.
Yeah.
So whoever's in the spin that sent you the spinning email needs to unspin too. You know,
And you're
let
able to
them-
keep focus on whatever you're doing, so your time
Yes.
management doesn't get out of
Right, otherwise,
whack.
and the other thing is that I have found to be helpful is that when I wake up in the morning, and if it's the one thing of the whole day, or the person that pissed me off or whatever, let me take care of that first thing, because otherwise it's gonna keep clouding my day,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah,
And to take the one issue that's like.
in the morning.
In the morning.
When you're
Think-
fresh.
if-
Yeah,
when
get
you're
it done.
fresh. Get it done, otherwise all day long you're gonna keep thinking how you're gonna approach it, how you're gonna do it,
Right.
and it's gonna, you know, at least it's, you know, I'm trying to be better with my time management, and that all clouds it.
Well, we're gonna talk a little bit about that too, but I wanna do a fun exercise right now that's about, not as dry as that. So,